Jose Luis Castillo's ribs before the second Castillo-Corrales fight. Jorge Alonso has the third man inside the ring duties tonight.
This is good here. Yo le di las instrucciones del camerino, que quiero una pelea limpia. Esto está bien aquí, esto está bien aquí. Toquen guantes. Touch gloves. Good luck. Buena suerte.
10-round fight. The ring experience is brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. And although Browning has the longer career and is 20 years older, the experience lies with Garcia. Babyface in the baby blue. Troy Browning in the black trunks.
You know, Joe, I know we've been touching on it already, but just incredible when you think Garcia 42 fights and he's only 20.
Turned pro in his native Mexico 5 days after turning 15 years old.
20 years younger than Browning, still growing, still filling out. Turned pro at 126 pounds. Did Garcia, as you said, only 15 years old, moved up to junior lightweight, then lightweight, then junior welterweight, and then he skipped the welterweight and moved right up to junior middleweight. Tonight, coming in the heaviest of his career, 156.25 pounds. A growing boy.
And you can imagine, Teddy, that at only 20 years old, and the fact that he has that tall 6-foot frame, he could finish up his career all the way up at light heavyweight, having started his career as a featherweight. How many guys can you ever say that about?
That's well said. And right here you can see Browning, the southpaw, 40-year-old southpaw who 2 fights ago, as you already touched on, was off over 8 years. Tough spot to be in for Browning. Some people might say an impossible spot. You might even want to ask if he has the same manager that he had before the 8-year layoff. Maybe he's mad at him. Maybe he was angry at him for being away 8 years and 2 months and said, you know what, I'll put you in an impossible fight.
Garcia trying to target that head when he had him in the corner. That knee injury that kept Browning out, he thought it ended his career. That happened when he was working for a water company and he fell down a manhole, hurt his left knee, thought it was career ending. Then he started training again, found out that the knee was fine.
Well, you see that when we talked on the fight plan, Browning trying to get separation, you know, hoping to get a slow pace where he gets a little bit of time when he gets away, where maybe he could time the much bigger, the much taller Garcia coming in. But Garcia just not cooperating with the pace. You know, keeping the pressure on him, and right there, maybe playing around a little bit, Garcia. Maybe that's the best shot Browning has, is Garcia starts getting careless, starts taking him for granted a little bit. But a moment ago, you could see Garcia giving that distance, giving a little time to Browning to get that space I talked about in the fight plan, where he could do some of this, maybe time some spots, pot shot a little bit. I don't know if it's going to keep up right now. Browning's doing it because Garcia is leaving him alone.
And the one.
We talked about finding a buried treasure. Well, Browning's trying his best to find it. We talked about getting a little separation, being left alone a little bit. Well, Browning got that separation. He stepped out a little bit, got a little bit of a chance to chuck a little punches at Garcia. Maybe enough to get a little confidence, maybe enough to even win a round, at least on my scorecard. Again, you can see what Browning's trying to do here, Joe. Try to get a little distance, hope he gets a slow pace, maybe kill a little time a little bit in spots, take a little time off the clock like you would in a basketball game. You know, you want to slow down the tempo. You can't run with a certain team. You know you have no chance. So you can see Browning using his head, using that 40 years of age to think a little bit.
Babyface told us that he trained to feel him out in the first round and go for the kill in the second round. Well, here is the second round.
You remember Dean Smith in North Carolina, that four-corner offense where he used to slow things down when he thought he had to? I think that's what Browning has in mind. He knows athletically he cannot match up, I don't think, with Garcia. even size-wise. But right now, he gets caught on the ropes. He knows he has to get out of there. If he can keep the pace contained and get spots of separation where he can do something, and then he can take some time off the clock, that gives Browning the best shot to do two things: to maybe grab some rounds and to definitely get time. Right now, Garcia looking like a guy that somebody told him his opponent's 40. And right now, he's not taking him seriously.
Not at all. Allowed Browning to get to the inside moments ago, get off a couple shots, and didn't return anything. Now just measuring with that clawing jab.
6 months since the last fight for Browning. As we said, that's nothing compared to the 8 years that he was off. And before that, he was off a year and a half. Browning went away from boxing in '98, Joe, at junior welterweight, 142 pounds to be exact. Came back in 2006 at junior middleweight. He skipped some weight classes, a little different than the way Garcia has skipped weight classes. Garcia has done it by staying active and just having growing spurts.
By the way, that last fight with the 6-month layoff, his most recent fight, was only a 4-rounder.
Again, right now, it's not a matter of what Garcia can and can't do. It's a matter of what he wants to do. Right now, I speak the truth to the audience. There's no other way to say it. Garcia doesn't want to do a lot. The way he does it, a good, solid fighter, just slowly, round by round, taking control over Montel Griffin, the former world champion, and a slick fighter, a good defensive fighter. But Glencorp doing it the old-fashioned way, with pressure, with good fundamentals, and going downstairs to the body, bringing it up at the right time. Glencorp, a pleasure to watch in the ring all the time, and a pleasure to always have around you. A real gentleman, a guy that understands how to do it inside and outside the ring.
Yeah, and by the way, in a light heavyweight division where there are some young guns coming up that people are excited about, like Chad Dawson and Diakonu, he's not going anywhere than Johnson. I'd love to see him in there with one of those guys. Round number 3, Babyface Garcia in the baby blue. Slow start as Troy Browning connects to the head with a combination. The 19-0-1 fighter who took 8 years off. It was a big, big underdog coming in tonight.
Well, it's obvious right now that Garcia is full of himself right now. I don't know if that's going to change in 20 seconds, in 2 rounds, in 1 minute, as he goes to the body now, and that's the forte of Garcia, to bang that left hook down around the liver, and then he likes to come up with that right hand and turn into it a little bit. But right now, no other way to state it but the way that we're seeing it. Garcia full of himself, not taking Browning real seriously up to this point. Now, you wonder, is it completely because he figures he can handle him anytime he wants? Or, and this happens sometimes in boxing, we're not saying we have information that we know any of this, but sometimes a fighter in his camp will say, you know, you got a handle on this fight. It's a fight where you can carry him a little bit. You can get some rounds, get some work in a safe sort of way, because it's hard to do that in the ring in a safe way. And then put the lights out when you want it.
Yeah, I think
that's a possibility to think about that.
Physical actions you just saw from Babyface Garcia would kind of hint towards that, as he just opened up his defense and invited Browning to hit him. Actually took a shot and just kept walking forward. And, you know, you watched the Richard Gutierrez fight earlier tonight against Luciano Perez, and you could see where a cynic would say that, hey, go out there, you got things in control, get some rounds in.
Well, I'm going to be a cynic right now, and I'm going to say very plainly that if Garcia, there's 32 seconds left, if he concentrates with left hooks downstairs to the body, Browning doesn't get out of this round. If Garcia wants to do that.
Just like if Gutierrez wanted to do that earlier tonight. Look at this. Yeah, Babyface casually has the time to fix his guard.
Now there's danger to this. There's danger that all of a sudden something can happen out of the blue for Browning. A cut can happen. And of course you could not look your best.